But before we go any further, I think it's important to address something that might be on our listeners' minds: the whole issue of quality and originality. We've talked about
True.
adding your own touch to PLR, but how do you make sure you're not just churning out generic stuff? And how do you even find reputable sources for good PLR content in the first place?
Those are excellent questions.
Yeah.
And they get to the heart of why PLR sometimes gets a bad rap. There's definitely a lot of low quality PLR content out there. So let's talk about how to separate the wheat from the chaff, so to speak, and make sure you're using PLR in the way that benefits both you and your audience. Welcome back. We're digging deeper into this world of PLR and figuring out how to make it work for you.
Before we went on, we were talking about how to make sure you're using high quality PLR and not just churning out generic content.
Yeah.
It's a valid concern,
Yeah.
especially when you're first starting out. It really is. I think a lot of people might be hesitant to try PLR because they've heard stories about low quality content or they worry about being unoriginal. But it sounds like there are ways to avoid those pitfalls. Can you give us some tips on how to spot red flags and find those hidden gems in the PLR world?
Absolutely. Think of it like shopping for clothes. You wouldn't buy the first thing you see without checking the quality of the fabric,
Yeah.
the stitching, the overall fit.
Right.
Right, PLR is the same way. You need to be discerning and look for those signs of quality.
Uh-huh.
Watch out for things like poorly written content, grammatical errors, outdated information, or generic topics that don't offer any real value.
So basically, if it feels like something you could find for free with a quick Google search, it's probably not worth your money.
Right.
What else should we be looking for?
Look for PLR providers who specialize in specific niches or offer unique content format. For example, if you're in the health and wellness space, you might look for a provider that focuses on creating PLR content related to nutrition, fitness, or mindfulness. The more specialized the content, the better.
Got it.
And don't be afraid to invest a little more for higher quality PLR. Remember, this is an investment in your business.
That's a great point. It's not just about finding the cheapest PLR, but rather finding the right PLR. That aligns with your brand and your audience's needs.
Exactly.
If you're serious about using PLR to build a sustainable business, quality over quantity is key.
I agree.
But let's say you found some amazing high quality PLR content. You've checked for all the red flags, you're confident in the provider, you're excited to start using it. What are some concrete steps you can take to customize it and make it your own?
Here's where your creativity comes in. Remember that analogy of the fashion designer using pre-made fabrics?
Uh-huh.
You've got the raw materials. Now it's time to design the garment. Start by adding your own insights, examples, or case studies. Think about your unique experiences and expertise and weave those into the content.
I imagine you could even incorporate client stories
Absolutely.
or testimonials to make it more relatable and engaging.
Right.
What about the design aspect?
Absolutely. Update the design and formatting to match your brand aesthetic. Add your logo. Choose your brand colors. Use fonts that reflect your style. You can even create custom graphics or visuals to make it stand out. Think about creating a cohesive look and feel. That aligns with your overall brand identity.
I'm starting to see how this whole customization process is not just about avoiding ethical issues, but also about elevating the quality of the content and making it truly unique. It's like
Okay.
taking something good and making it great. Any other tips on how to really level up that PLR content?
You could even consider using AI tools to help you with the editing and rewriting process. These tools can help you identify areas for improvement, suggest alternative phrasing, and even generate new content ideas based on the existing PLR material. It's like having a virtual writing assistant at your fingertips.
Oh, that's a great idea. I'm all about using technology to streamline the creative process. But it's important to remember that AI is a tool, not a replacement for your own creative input. You still need to be the driving force behind the content and make sure it aligns with your vision.
Precisely. It's all about finding that synergy between human creativity and AI-powered efficiency. And I know we've been talking a lot about the practical aspects of PLR, but I think it's important to circle back to that ethical question that you brought up earlier. It's a topic that often comes up in discussions about PLR, and it's something that every content creator needs to grapple with.
Yeah, I think it's important to acknowledge that there are some gray areas when it comes to PLR, and it's ultimately up to each individual to decide how they want to use it.
Exactly. But I think it's important to approach PLR with a sense of integrity and respect for the original creator. Transparency is also key.
Okay.
If you're using PLR content as a foundation for your own work, Be upfront about it. Let your audience know that you've adapted or modified existing content and that you've added your own unique spin to it.
That makes sense. It's all about being honest and transparent with your audience.
Yeah.
Now, before we get too deep into the philosophical side of things, I want to bring it back to our listener and their specific needs. Let's say someone is listening to this deep dive and they're thinking, okay, I'm intrigued by PLR. I'm seeing the potential, but where do I even start? What would be your advice to them as they embark on this journey?
That's a great question. I'd say first and foremost, get clear on your goals.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to achieve with PLR? Are you looking to generate passive income by selling PLR products directly? Do you want to build an audience by using PLR as lead magnets? Or are you simply looking to streamline your content creation process so you can focus on other aspects of your business?
So start with your why. Figure out what you want to accomplish with PLR. Before you dive into the specifics, what's next?
Once you have a clear vision, I'd encourage them to do their research and find reputable PLR providers, read reviews, check out samples, and don't be afraid to ask questions before making a purchase. There are a ton of resources available online, including websites, forums, and even social media groups dedicated to PLR.
It sounds like it's all about finding your tribe and learning from others who have experience with PLR.
Exactly.
Any other words of wisdom for our budding PLR entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to experiment and find what works best for you. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to PLR. Try different methods, test different strategies, and track your results. See what resonates with your audience and what helps you achieve your goals.
It's all about that iterative process of trying things out, learning from your mistakes, and constantly refining your approach. I love that. Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, but I want to leave our listeners with a final thought that really resonated with me. We talked earlier about the potential of AI and how it's shaping the content creation landscape. And it got me thinking about the future of PLR. Do you think PLR will become even more valuable in a world where AI-generated content becomes more prevalent?
That's a fascinating question, and it's one that I've been pondering myself. It's hard to say for certain what the future holds, but I think PLR has the potential to become even more valuable as a source of unique human-created content.
I think so too. There's something about that human touch that AI just can't replicate, at least not yet. And I think people are craving authenticity and connection more than ever.
Exactly. In a world where algorithms and automation are becoming increasingly prevalent, there's a real hunger for content that feels genuine, relatable, and human. And I think PLR, when used ethically and creatively, can help content creators meet that need.
That's a powerful thought. It's like PLR can be a bridge between the efficiency of technology and the heart of human creativity.
Right.
But ultimately, it's up to each individual to decide how they want to use this tool and what kind of impact they want to make with it.
I couldn't agree more. PLR is simply a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. It's up to us, the creators,
Yeah.
to wield it responsibly and use it to create something